Dear Capricorn, I'm starting with you because it's your birthday time, and also because I'm starting with you and then Aquarius for these New Year's ones, because I'm not completely sure if I'll do all 12 signs this month or not, but I wanted to do you two, partly because your birthday's coming up and presently, but also because each of you, in the reading I did yesterday for the collective energies of Black Moon Lilith turning direct here as we move into the first new moon and eclipse of the new year, and all sorts of other things going on. Anyway, you and Aquarius both got kind of more complicated or more difficult cards, and so you both got clarifiers, and I wanted to do longer readings for each of you. So here I am at Spira. Hello, and happy cozy days. Your first card, Capricorn, here is the High Priestess, and this to me suggests a profound self-reliance. And this is not a self-reliance that means that you neglect, your need for companionship, and it doesn't require that, this self-reliance. It may have felt, at times and for long stretches of time in your life and in your habitation here on Earth that you were required to be, somehow required for some reason, and in some way required to really go it alone and create, in some senses, understand, perceive, and create in a lot of deep ways in a sort of isolation. Now, I'm a Taurus. I enjoy isolation, especially this particular week of the year. I enjoy my solitude and quiet, really quiet. But, there's a fatigue and a loneliness to that as well, where you just want, the comfort of a little company. I have my kitty cats, and my children will be back with me soon. But okay. So I got a little off track talking about myself, pardon me. But so as I've been reading reversals, I read reversals as the energy shifting more easily than you might have ever thought it could. And I want to step back for one more minute and talk about, so the cards that came out for you yesterday in the collective reading, where you had the Nine of Swords and you had the Knight. I think it was the Knight or the Page. No, it was the Knight of Cups. Okay, so and I read that as, there's a certain familiarity to this way of really, when we talk about being self-sufficient, it's also, it can feel challenging. It can feel challenging, because we are human creatures. We can't really do everything for ourselves, provide all forms of sustenance, just in isolation. That's not how we're made, but that's not to take away from the deep satisfaction and an adventure of being truly, spiritually, and in other ways, self-sufficient. As one of my favorite quotes I have it, on my About page is, make your own nature, not the advice of others, your guide in life. That's from the Oracle of Delphi. But really just the adventure that it is of really coming into, your absolute knowledge and understanding of yourself, and acceptance and curiosity for what is next. Okay. So then we have here, so this is you, Capricorn as an earth sign, as a modernist earth sign with a sweet patterning, and I love this card, and I love that deck, the Dreaming Way. Anyway, so you moved from the 9, and here I have, this is you as a cardinal sign. That's what this fabric stands for. So you moved from the 9 of Swords in the reading yesterday to the 9 of Wands, which is it's a gentler sort of contemplative state of being. It's without the like sort of panic and fear and worry and sorrow, you know. And I don't mean to neglect or diminish any of those things, but I am urging you to, in your reflection, allow that little clink of light that Knight of Cups is, that the universe is offering to you, you know, in whatever mysterious or obvious way that it's coming into your life, even if it's literally a bit of light streaming into the room that you're currently sitting in, you know, as the sun loves you. But to allow, and also how I read that was that there's this change coming. You know, you have Capricorn. Capricorn, there are 3 eclipses in your sign coming up, you know. We've got the nodal action. Your axis is with the nodes for the next bit of time as we are in this deeply transformative time for multiple reasons. Jupiter and Sag and Uranus and Taurus, and you know, just it's been a lot, right? The last, I don't even know. Perhaps it always feels that way, but it's been a lot. This last decade, maybe. Anyway, so my dear Cap, so you can allow a transformation to occur without giving up or neglecting any holy or simple, you know, it's all holy. You don't dismiss or neglect any part of your gorgeous self-sufficiency and perception and the absolute beauty and majesty and crowning joy of that as you move, as you transform, as you perhaps allow, you know, some new ways of community in, or something is shifting. I don't know what. Perhaps it's just a pattern or a way of thinking or way of perceiving, a way of being self-sufficient, but something is changing. So I won't presume to know what that is. That is your business, but there is some shift, but you may rely on this absolute depth of self-knowledge, self-sufficiency, self-trust, and self-acceptance. Okay? And, you know, you may also allow the shift to happen, whatever it is, more easily and gently, you know. And this is a particularly gentle Nine of Wands in this deck as well. But you're on the cusp of some change. You have two major arcana, major ways of understanding and knowing and being yourself that are bridged in this contemplative energy of, you know, being on the cusp of some sort of growth or change or shift, okay? This was for the eclipse in July, but I'm also going to read it as just the sun beaming down on you, Earthling. And we have justice. So there's some sort of coming into balance of something that was perhaps unbalanced or unjust or unfair, or just a recalibration even. It can be gentler than that. It doesn't have to be like so, you know, magisterial or you know, heraldic or you know, Hollywood ending-ish, or, you know, just kind of, it doesn't need to be overplayed. It can be gently occurring. Okay, that's for the July eclipse, but also just for the motion of the sun as it beams upon you. Okay, for this first eclipse, you have the Ace of Swords. So this cheerful clarity. And it is clarified by the Queen of Swords, but a gentling. So there's a vivacity, excuse me, there's a liveliness to these new moments of clarity that are coming in. And with the Queen of Swords, you may have at times felt that, somehow in the protection of your sweet self-knowledge, that you've had to be a bit stern with what is kept out, or with what you're clear on. And perhaps there's a way that is going to be more playful, that becomes more playful. Okay, whether it's even just play within, whatever your creative or work endeavors are, or if it's, in relation to other people, or in relation to how self-care is. So these new methods of coming to clarity, leading into this gentle and soft balancing. Okay, so those are the first two eclipses. You have the Knight of Cups reversed, which and then you have the Knight of Pentacles reversed. So it is an ease in coming, and again, the theme is that there is something new, there is something shifting, there's something really different happening, but not so different that, that it absolutely alters anything. It's of a piece. It's a it's a gentle entrance into, a lot of people are talking about everything that's going to happen with all this shifting, moving toward 2020, and that we no longer have to sort of carefully, or in some particularly structured way, or dogmatic way, work on ourselves. Okay, you got another page. So this page is coming in, as a way of rewriting, or sort of a retrospective here, even with the new moon at the beginning of the year, a retrospective of the ways that you have told or understood or lived your story. Okay, and all of this meant so gently, how we have had hope and agency even in the absolutely darkest times and experiences. It's a miracle, and it is in no way to be forgotten or denied. And as I said in another video, Six of Cups, I've been reading this as, the reintegration, the recollection of all of yourself, and it could even be all of your ancestral experiences as well. But this recollection, there's a joy in the recollection of everything, or the reintegration. So that's sort of like, it's getting beyond what I can put into words. But as I said in another video, like a few videos ago, I was talking about, these moments of injustice. It's not like they go away, or in these moments of sorrow, and these moments of agony, and these moments of mourning. They do not go away, but remain with us. But even as we expand, not even expand, but it's just it's the gentlest shift. It's the gentlest shift. It's the gentlest shift into a world that deeply acknowledges the gorgeous self-sufficiency and curiosity and just the nature and being softly, each of us in our integrity and holding each other